I think it's Bihar or Bajar Binder, I'm sorry. And once again, it'll be 5 minutes, and please state your name and your city of residence, okay?
Bhajan Binder. I'm from Manteca, California. Here because the reputation of Cerritos as Little India spreads throughout America. On the issue of Gandhi, it's whether the world is flat or whether the world is round. The facts will determine whether he was a racist or whether he was a Hitler lover or whether he was anti-Jew, anti-woman, whether he fought for freedom or whether he was truly nonviolence. I'm going to leave you all the facts right here. On the issue of India, the person who represented 85% of India is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who in 1917 graduated from Columbia University with 5 degrees. He said about Gandhi, if a man with God's name on his tongue and a sword under his armpit deserve the appellation of a Mahatma, then Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi is a Mahatma. This is the voice of the representative of 85% of India's population. We are talking facts today. How does this Gandhi affect the United States? You initiated the project on the private property. You called for this art project. It's not art. It's a religious icon. It's a Hindu deity. It's got temples all over the world. And that's not a separation of church and state. On the issue of Martin Luther King, I'm going to leave you with St. Diaconio, African-American reporter, who after learning about Gandhi in 2008 said, to continue to honor this man is to insult humanity. Your Honor, Mayor, this is a local newspaper. India is no country for women. That's the headlines. It says right here. The most prominent feminine of India just wrote on September 4, 2013. She said, Gandhi to Asaram, another guru who was implicated in a rape of a 15 years old just recently. She traced Gandhi's sexual abuse of his own grandnieces all the way to today's problem in women's issues, which affects all over the world, which is making headlines here in today's paper. As U.S. council members, you swore to uphold. This is your very first step to uphold the dignity, uphold safety of America. I'm going to leave you here with a 1929 sworn statement of a Southern California hero, Dorothy Williams. She came here to the United States. She was born here. She went to India to retrieve her husband's body, and she lived. She left us with a affidavit of support signed by a Los Angeles County notarized statement. I'm living for your facts. She said her husband, who was an American, was working in India. At the height of Gandhi's nonviolence and popularity, he was set upon by Gandhi followers. His eyes were gouged out. He was hacked to death. He was bitten to death. And that brave woman, an American, a Southern Californian, went back to retrieve the body of Gandhi. Gandhi threatened her. Gandhi offered her bribes to shut her mouth because he didn't want Americans to find out what the true face of Gandhi is. That notarized statement is right here. You did a big disservice to this community today. You did a big disservice to America. You failed to do your due diligence. You promoted a piece of racial hatred. You are promoting sexual exploitations. You are promoting violence. You are promoting a friend of Hitler. And this is totally un-American. Instead of recognizing heroes like Dorothy Williams, who have left you, warned you years ago, if you have just bothered to Google, this does not fit, not only in Cerritos, it doesn't fit anywhere. I request you to go back and look at the rules and regulations that led to this fallacy, this nightmare that we're going to talk about. Generations are going to, Dorothy Williams' history, I'm going to tell you, is going to be in every Cerritos residence. We're going to know the facts, what you guys did today. And you guys continue to support a monster. This is totally wrong. It's your job to come out and protect the city, protect the citizens. I know there are political donations at stake. The elite, the rich community here, they support you with political donations. I'm appreciative of America's values, but please do the right thing. Can I leave this here, Mayor, the 5 reports?
Yes, you may. And we have Mr. Singh, Mr. Dieter, or Peter Singh.
Good evening. My name is Peter Singh. I'm from Sacramento. Sometimes the truth requires standing the facts you think you know on their head. For instance, Giovanni Palatucci, a fascist police officer from World War II era Italy, who was once credited as the Italian Schindler, is now being repudiated by Italians as an abuser of the Jews. The Anti-Defamation League and the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum have both reversed their praise of Palatucci. It's not too late to change your mind. Propaganda has been exposed before. Why did you approve a statue of Gandhi? The city of Cerritos notes that the Cerritos Gandhi statue is located on private property. It is. But this whole affair began because the city of Cerritos, according to official correspondence from Mayor Bruce Barrows, required the property owner to provide a statue or monetary contribution as a part of the Art in Public Places program when their development was approved. Do you only respect private property rights when asked to take responsibility for controversy? Where was the respect for private property rights when demanding a statue or monetary contribution before the property owner could develop? Where was the discernment? Gandhi was a Hindu religious preacher who said, "Caste is necessary for Christians and Muslims as it has been necessary for Hinduism and has been its saving grace." Gandhi was an advocate of racial segregation of blacks in pre-apartheid South Africa. Gandhi was also a man who, late into his 70s, forced his 18-year-old grandniece Manu and his 17-year-old grandniece Abba to sleep naked with him on a nightly basis to test his commitment to celibacy. In one of the world's premier examples of twisted logic, Gandhi asked, "If I don't let Manu sleep with me, though I regard it as essential that she should, wouldn't that be a sign of weakness in me?" Today, Gandhi would be tossed in prison if caught doing such a thing in Cerritos. Perhaps most compelling is that Gandhi never once visited the USA. He has no ties to this country whatsoever. Have you heard of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar? Tonight, I know you have. He was a so-called untouchable from India, the lowest of the low in the Hindu caste system, which has poisonously divided that subcontinent's society for centuries. He arrived in America in 1913, 100 years ago this year, to study at Columbia University. While in the U.S., Dr. Ambedkar was molded by American freedom movements. He saw blacks enduring the same mental and physical tortures which are still, to this day, inflicted upon untouchables for no reason but the circumstance of their birth. Upon his return to India, Dr. Ambedkar immediately launched a movement to uplift the untouchables. One of his first movements was to demand recognition of the equal rights of all to drink from water in public places. Have you heard of Kartar Singh Saraba? He was a young South Asian who landed in the port of San Francisco in 1912, 100 years ago last year. He immediately settled into life in California and enrolled at UC Berkeley to study chemistry. However, knowledge of the situation in his country of origin disturbed him. The British were brutally occupying India, and Saraba said, "Indians are citizens of a slave country." Inspired by the American tradition of freedom of the press, Saraba founded the first Punjabi language newspaper in the United States, called Gutter. In fact, this talented young man published in 6 languages total. The printing press, which he personally operated, is preserved in Stockton, California. Once again, inspired by stories of our nation's revolutionary founders who treasured the principles of liberty and self-government, Saraba decided to return to India in 1914 to launch India's independence movement. At the age of 19, this young Californian, who I reiterate, launched India's independence movement, was hung by the neck until dead by the British because he loved America's traditions of freedom. So, these are men worth honoring. These are people that are actually connected to America. Most importantly, these are people who never campaigned for racial segregation. These are people who never praised Hitler. And these are people who did not sexually exploit their young female relatives. A little discernment may have been helpful in considering which South Asian should be honored with a statue in Cerritos. Mayor Barrows also wrote, "The Fine Arts and Historical Commission and the City Council received and approved the statue." Well, Mr. Mayor, what prevents you from changing your mind? Thank you for your time.